Asian Americans, Part 1. Asian Americans are the most diverse group of people that the federal government has chosen to classify under the same umbrella. Despite the dramatic increase in this population, Asian Americans are still poorly understood and given insufficient attention by the healthcare system and policymakers. There is a wide variety of health practices and eating habits among them. These differences are based primarily on country of origin, length of time in the U.S., acculturation, status, geographic region in the U.S., and socioeconomic status. Asian refers to a person having origins in any of the original peoples of the Far East, Southeast Asia, the Indian subcontinent, which includes Cambodia, China, India, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Pakistan, the Philippine Islands, Thailand, and Vietnam. History in the U.S. The California Gold Rush brought Chinese immigrants to the U.S. However, their families were not allowed to come with them. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1888 legally barred Chinese from immigrating to the U.S., and the Magnuson Act of 1943 set quotas of 105 Chinese immigrants per year. This was abolished in 1965. 1942 Executive Order 9066, also known as the Japanese internment, all persons of Japanese ancestry in California, Washington, Oregon, and to a small extent Hawaii were forcibly moved to relocation camps. As a result, they lost jobs as well as land and all property. The Civil Liberties Act of 1988 included reparations and redress of those involved or their survivors. Families of those who were interned received compensation. 2020 demographic census data. Asian Americans make up 5.9% of the U.S. population. They are the wealthiest of the minority groups, and ethnic classification is arbitrary, and there are at least 23 subgroups. Asian Americans were once classified with Pacific Islanders, and many databases still combine these groups. The three largest groups are Chinese, Filipinos, and Asian Indians, sometimes referred to as East Indians. Differences exist between those who are native born and those who are foreign born. Asian Indians make up the largest growing subgroup, while Japanese made up the smallest subgroup as well as the smallest growing subgroup. The major Asian groups in the U.S. are Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, Asian Indians, Southeast Asians, which include Filipinos, Vietnamese, Cambodians, Hmong, and Laotians. States with the largest percentage of Asian population are Hawaii, California, Washington, New Jersey, Nevada, New York, Massachusetts, Virginia, Maryland, and Alaska. 72.3% speak a language other than English at home, and 32.6% are not fluent in English. The percentage of Asians 5 years and older who do not speak English very well varies by group. 88.2% have at least a high school diploma, and 53.8% have a bachelor's degree or higher, with Taiwanese having the highest rate of higher education. Insurance coverage varies by subgroups. Private insurance, 74.1%, Medicaid or public insurance, 28.1%, and about 5.4% are uninsured. Health issues. Life expectancy is 84.5 years of age, with women expecting to live 86.3 years of age and men 82.4 years of age. Barriers to care include language and cultural differences, lack of health insurance in some groups, and infrequent medical visits among low-income groups. Chinese eat a wide variety of foods and avoid very few. Cuisine largely reflects the food habits of the Han people, the largest ethnic group in China. There are 5 culinary regions in China. The composition of a meal is governed by yin, cold, and yang, hot, to achieve balance. Few dairy products are eaten, and rice is the staple food and is served steamed. There is a large use of soy products. Cuisine makes extensive use of fresh vegetables. Dessert is usually fresh fruit, and there is limited use of sugar. Hot tea is served with each meal and drank throughout the day. Traditional eating utensils are chopsticks, and a ceramic spoon is often used for soups. Meals are served by courses, and on special occasions, meals can have up to 10 courses. Elders usually eat first, and the younger ones eat after the elders have started. It is considered rude to reject or refuse food. Bowls should be raised to the mouth when eating. It should be noted that these etiquette standards are more related to traditional Chinese culture that are still observed by some foods, but depending on the length of time in the US, some of these etiquette standards may not exist in some families. The traditional Chinese week does not include a day of rest, and Chinese use the lunar or moon calendar, so festivals do not fall on the same day each year. One of the most important festivals is Chinese New Year or the Spring Festival. Japanese. A significant Japanese immigration to the U.S. occurred after 1890. These immigrants were mostly young men who came for economic opportunities and settled primarily in Hawaii and on the West Coast, especially California. Japanese cooking ingredients, as well as cooking habits, are very familiar to those of the Chinese. However, food preparation and presentation are unique. Emphasis is placed on how the food is served and presented. Dairy products are really used in traditional food habits. Soy and rice are heavily consumed. Sushi, or raw fish, is a traditional dish. And there is a heavy use of seaweed and algae, which are used for seasoning, wrapping, and in salads and soups. Hot green tea is consumed with most meals and throughout the day. Meals are not usually served by courses like in China. Instead, all food is put out at the same time. Second generation Japanese Americans eat both traditional foods and typical American foods. However, third and fourth generation Japanese Americans almost exclusively eat typical American foods, and this is pretty common among many immigrant groups. Etiquette. Food is eaten at low tables, about the height of an American living room coffee table. Men sit cross-legged, and women sit with legs to the side. Foods are eaten with chopsticks. Soups are eaten directly from the bowl, usually with no utensils, and bowls are held closely to the mouth. Special occasions. Numerous festivals are associated with the harvest of various crops, and Japanese share many of the holiday traditions with the Chinese. New Year's is celebrated on January 1st. Thank you for watching.